welcome back to Revolvement.co UK. Today we're gonna look at how to drag an object around using the touch interface. Well, basically, I received some requests about how to implement this feature. So it's very simple though. So I'm gonna show you how to implement it. What I've got here is just a simple project having just a primitive, in this case a sphere, main camera, and an empty game object holding our script. Of course, I have a light. Actually, this is just a point light. So basically, let's go into our script. We have here some just three public variables just to hold the target item. As I told you before, it could be anything from a primitive to any 3D model or whatever you already done in other software like Maya or something like that. Okay, and some horizontal and vertical limits. This depends on how you have your project set up, how you have your scenes set up, because that depends the distance between your camera and your actual object. So it's gonna draw what the limits are on the screen, on your screen. So in my case, it's 2.5 or 2.0. I think it's both of them. 2.5. Sorry. And some private variables, a scroll distance, and we're gonna use them to calculate where the object or what the touch is, and then pass the distance to the object position. As well, we're using some breakcasting. You could take a look at my previous tutorial. I use it as well. I'm just having some layers. You can forget about this as well. But if, for instance, you want to just limit the touches or have touch events when you're actually touching the object, not outside, you need to use raycasting. Sorry, it's a little bit confusing if you're not used to raycasting, but you can just look at the Unity documents. And okay, first of all, we're gonna tell our script that we're gonna have initial value for scroll distance X and scroll distance Y. It's gonna be the same target item position in both axes. It's very important. Otherwise, as soon as you touch the screen, the object is gonna jump to the next position. So we don't want that kind of behavior. All right. So going then forward to your fixed day update. You can use any of this. And first of all, we're gonna check if we have any touches at all in the screen. It's quite useful sometimes because you don't want this code to be executed every frame, so you have to limit that. And only in this script, to any other, I don't know, script you use, try to limit what you're checking every frame. That's one of the most common mistakes that people make while learning Unity or learning JavaScript actually. And okay, so first of all, you get your touches, getting the first touch in screen. We at the moment we just care about that one, passing to the ray, and then making some raycasting here. This is not the important part, as I'm saying. So first of all, we're gonna check where we care about only the first touch. Yeah. So if the touch count is 1, we're gonna get that touch. If, for instance, you have another kind of a behavior in your application, like for example, a rotation, like my previous tutorial, you want to limit this. For example, you want to use 2 fingers or even 3 fingers. Yeah. So when 3 fingers touching the screen, you trigger this function then. For the sake of this tutorial, I'm just using this feature, so it's up to you. So you can do it later. And well, we have a scroll that X. So this is a new variable. We're gonna get the delta position for the touch in each axis. We're gonna use the math plan function just to limit where do we want to move in each axis the object. It's very important because if you're dragging around the object and then the object leaves the screen or leaves the camera area, you're not gonna be able to drag him back. So it's very important to draw some limits to this. So this is the horizontal limit and vertical limit we previously set up on our public variables. And well, I'm using some prim scroll distance y or x. That was just for testing purposes. You don't need it. And once you have the scroll distance, you're just gonna go about and passing this variable into your target item position for each axis. That was very simple, isn't it? So let's try it out. And we have our sphere here. I'm using my iPad, so as usual, Unity remote is not very accurate, not very fast. So try to, I mean Unity remote. As you can see, I'm dragging around my object. So, but sometimes it's really slow and not the kind of behavior you want. Don't worry, when you actually run in the application on the device, it's gonna be very smooth. It's gonna be very natural. So this is just a problem with the Unity remote. Not a problem though. It's a Wi-Fi anyway. So you'll see that kind of lag in the application or any application. But there is. It's working out. So. Feel free to go to my website. I'm gonna post the code there, and hopefully it's gonna be a YouTube tutorial. You're watching it on YouTube, so go to my website revelopment.co.uk. Don't forget to check my other tools. Leave any comment. I made this tutorial because somebody wrote me an email and tell me that it was quite a useful feature, and I'm doing it because of that. If you feel that you need any other tutorial, just let me know, and if I have time, I'll be happy to do it. Okay?